How's it going, everybody? Live from the roof at Saratoga Racecourse. Chris Onorato with you here across News Channel 13's social media channels. That's Facebook, YouTube, and X, Twitter, if you're keeping it old school. I respect that. It's such a beautiful spot here. We had some light rain on Thursday. Again, we're doing this show at 10 o'clock on Thursday morning before that 4-day Belmont Racing Festival starts. So if you're watching us on TV, we're still going to get you all caught up on what's happening with the Belmont race specifically. Our guest this week, great lineup here, Acaa Clemont, who is a Fox Sports and NYRA racing analyst. She will give us her predictions on the Belmont Stakes, good friend of ours. And then Billy Blake, who's a buddy as well, big horse player, worked at News Channel 13, then went out to the West Coast with an Express Bet. He's got a pulse on what's happening with this Belmont field as well. And Kennedy Swedick, the Albany Academy senior and now three-time New York State golf champion, will join the show as well. We are locked, loaded to go, live from Saratoga Racecourse. Let's do it on Onorato and Miller.
This is Onorato and Miller, sponsored by Alpin House.
A shout out to all the great support we get here on Onorato and Miller, our local business partners with us. There's a big news to get to here before we really just kind of hone in on Saratoga especially. How about this? Adrian Wojnarowski, ESPN, reporting that the Lakers are preparing to offer Dan Hurley a massive long-term contract. Whoa. Okay. Read in that piece as well that Hurley has always expressed his ambition to coach in the NBA. Can't blame the guy, right? I mean, anybody who is in that type of profession wants to test themselves at the highest level. He's won back-to-back national championships at the college level. Hasn't been done since Billy Donovan's Florida Gators. Speaking of Billy Donovan, we'll talk about him in a second in regards to Danny Hurley trying to make the jump to the NBA here. I'd hate to see college basketball lose him because he is the quintessential college basketball coach. And by that, I mean he's out of his mind in a good way, right? He the way people are describing the construction of UConn's offense and player development, he's like a mad scientist. And then when you watch him on the sideline, he seems to just plain be mad, right? Not in a bad way necessarily all the time. He's just like mad. And so I would hate to see college basketball lose that. But what more is there to do in the college basketball game other than chase John Wooden and Mike Krzyzewski, right? I'm not saying Dan Hurley is that. But if you want to coach in the NBA and the Lakers call and it's a team with LeBron James, you can't say no. It would be difficult enough to say no to any job in the NBA. You can't say no to this job. And so I would expect that it gets done. They haven't had formal conversations yet, Hurley and the Lakers front office, be it Jeannie Buss, Rob Pelinka. But Hurley's representatives have talked with the Lakers. So Dan knows what's coming here. And again, I feel like you have to do it, right? Sam's watching. Good morning, Sam. I appreciate it, buddy. Now here's the comment. Crazy if he takes the Lakers job. Sam, the NBA comes calling. No matter what team it is, you have to consider it. Not saying you have to take it. Tom Izzo passed on the Cavaliers job years ago, decided to stay at Michigan State. So not everybody goes. But when the NBA calls, if the NFL calls, you have to consider it. And for me, that's a no-brainer. You have to take the job. UConn will want to pay him more. And honestly, the way things are going with college basketball and college sports in general, you're kind of coaching a pro team anyway. These guys are getting paid in the sense of NIL, but now what the NCAA is allowing, basically revenue sharing for players. So they're basically getting paid. Knicks Mavericks. How about them, Nick? And I like them to beat the Celtics, too, in that series. We'll talk about it. All right, Sam's comment here following up here on the Lakers. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Aging team. But who better to build it? You know what I mean? LeBron can't play forever. Hurley knows that. But let me get another year or two with LeBron. Let me build it. Let me build another winner in LA. For the people who want to dismiss the bubble NBA title, and I may or may not be one of them, they haven't won a title in a while. So there's some allure there as well. Let me be the guy to kind of bring this great franchise back to the top. Now, I would say this. There are some cautionary tales out there. John Calipari, Rick Pitino, John Beilein. Didn't work. Great college basketball coaches. Didn't work in the NBA. However, we like to be positive on this show when we can. So I'll give you a couple of recent success stories. Billy Donovan, Quinn Snyder. Donovan's been an NBA coach now since his Florida days for 9 years. Oklahoma City and now at the Bulls. Quinn Snyder. People would go, Quinn's what? Missouri. You probably remember him more as an NBA coach than a college coach. Assistant at Duke. He had some time in the NBA as well with player development and that type of stuff. But he's had a 10-year NBA coaching career. The Jazz and now the Hawks. Now, they haven't stayed in one place. They've had to move. But still, you make it 10 years as a coach in the NBA, you're doing something right. And even if I had 10 names up here that were just failures, complete flops, do you think Dan Hurley is saying to himself, well, I don't know, maybe I'm not good enough. Look at these other guys that didn't make it. And they were better than... No coach thinks that way. Every coach thinks, put me in any situation, I will find a way to succeed. I love Dan Hurley. I don't like the Lakers. And this makes me feel like I would have to root for the Lakers to support Dan Hurley, Jersey guy. We're live from Saratoga Racecourse. Belmont Racing Festival starts Thursday, runs through Sunday. I was undercover for a little bit this morning as it rained. Now, not so much. It is cloudy, obviously, and we're expecting more rain. But the rest of the weekend looks like it's shaping up okay. So let's hold out a little bit of hope here, shall we? Rockman says Celtics in 5. Ooh. We'll talk the NBA Finals here coming up in a little bit. All right, let's take a break here on Onorato and Miller, live from Saratoga Racecourse. We need some help when it comes to playing the ponies, and that's why we're calling on Acaa Clemont to help us out here with her picks. She's a NYRA and FOX Sports analyst. She'll be on the broadcast on Saturday. Acacia joins us in a minute. Back right after this.
I'm Jeff Fukelek. I'm owner of Bev's, and we're a beverage center in upstate New York. You're just going to have that wow component when you come in, like, wow, look at this place. It's bright, it's clean, it has everything that I need. Consumer is king. Be able to provide them a friendly environment and a place to shop, no matter where they are, whether they're down here in Saratoga or whether they're up in Queensbury. You're always going to get the same experience when you shop at Bev's. At the end of the day, if you walk in these stores, you're going to see a lot of people that have a lot of pride.
At Marcella's Appliance Center, our commitment is to you, providing essential appliances that families depend on for cooking, refrigeration, cleaning, and sanitation, plus appliance repair. You can have peace of mind that Marcella's is here for you today and every day, like we have been since 1957, helping you make the right choice with trusted brands like Whirlpool, Maytag, KitchenAid, and many more. Shop Marcella's Appliance Center in-store, online, or by phone. We're here for you.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Alpen House.
All right, we need a little bit of help. You know from watching this show, almost any prediction I make, I need a little bit of help. But when it comes to horse racing, I need a whole lot of help. this is a really, I know there's no Triple Crown on the line, and selfishly, we in this capital region would have loved there to be a Triple Crown on the line, but this looks like a really good race when you look at the field, and we'll break it down with our guest, Acaa Clement. And I'm at a home away from home a little bit here. Novice headquarters, of course, one of our business partners and supporters on the podcast for all of your custom apparel, and big news coming soon from the Novice crew. Stay tuned for that this summer. Of course, the Cat Volleyball fundraiser tournament coming up on opening day, July 11th. This is a little bit of a different opening day for the Belmont Stakes Racing Festival. Let's bring Acaa Clement into the conversation now on Onorato and Miller. Acaa, it's always too long. It's been too long. Thank you for doing the show again. It's good to see you.
It's good to see you too, Chris. And I hope to see Ashley soon too. Always love getting a chance to catch up with you guys when we're here for the races, and really excited about this week. I hope Mother Nature is kind to us, and we have some sunshine this weekend, because like you said, it really is such a good race, and just the whole weekend is really good and a great celebration of racing.
You'll see Ash on Saturday. We'll wave from afar in the paddock when we cross paths at some point without bugging you. But let's look at the overall depth of this field, because to me, right, it feels like a deep field. I mean, if we came in with a Triple Crown on the line, while that would have that excitement of history, we'd get into a mess of debating whether or not 1.25 miles really counted against 1.5 miles. And I don't know that we would get as the same challengers that we have in this field trying to win a Triple Crown race. All of that aside, what do you make of the field we have here?
It's such a good point that you make about that kind of the asterisks that people are putting next to this year with the different distance. And look, it's tough, but I did a little crunching the numbers of the Belmont Stakes history piece last weekend. And so I all of this trivia is like really fresh in my mind. So this is actually the 5th racetrack that the Belmont Stakes has been run at. It's been run at a multitude of distances throughout history. And this is the 7th time it will have been run at 1.25 miles. Just a couple of years ago during COVID, when the Triple Crown was totally out of whack, the whole world was out of whack, the Belmont Stakes actually started the Triple Crown series. And so it was 1.125 miles, because it was the first race of the 3. And we finished up with the Derby in September and the Preakness in October. So it was like that crazy year. But my point is that there's always going to be some times when you have to adapt. And as far as horse racing goes, sadly, we've seen over the last couple of years some of the smaller tracks closing around the country and racing kind of becoming consolidated. Arlington Park in Chicago closed a few years back. So I think we have to celebrate the fact of New York investing in New York racing, and the fact that we're going to be able to have a beautiful new state-of-the-art facility that we'll get to use in a couple of years downstate at Belmont Park. So obviously, I'm a NYRA employee, but I really mean it, as a fan of the game as well. Grateful that we are able to see growth in the New York sport arena pretty much here. So yes, it is going to be different with the configuration of the racetrack. But that said, you have the Derby winner against the Preakness winner, which is the first time that's happened since 2013. And then you have Sierra Leone, who's obviously super talented, is the morning line favorite. You have lightly raced horses like Mindframe. I think it's a really fun field.
Yeah, I love that, throwing Mindframe in there to just kind of mess with the pot here and what, horse players are thinking come Saturday. We're at the Belmont started in the Bronx or in Brooklyn, and then it was in Westchester County. And I mean, so yeah, to your point, this is not new. It's been a while, but it's not new.
Right. And it was run at Aqueduct in history, but Aqueduct, which is where we're spending most of the year now with Belmont Park under construction, just does not have the grandstand, the physical makeup of a track you want to have people come and celebrate a race like the Belmont Stakes. Whereas Saratoga, everybody wants to come here and get dressed up and experience all that the town has to offer as well.
There's nothing like Saratoga. All right, Acaa, here is the full field. You said it. Sierra Leone 9-5. Chad Brown, the morning line favorite here. Is this as big a favorite as maybe it would appear? Now I know Mindframe 7-2, but everybody is talking about Sierra Leone.
Mm-hmm. he's definitely, even though he was second in the Kentucky Derby behind Mystic Dan, he's definitely the buzz horse once again. And I'm a big fan of him. I do think that he's the horse to beat. I think Mystic Dan will take a little bit more money just because he's the Kentucky Derby winner. He was second in the Preakness, but he has had a tough year, whereas Sierra Leone skipped the Preakness, so he's a little bit more fresh coming in here. And it's funny, as I know you and I have talked about in the past too, Chad Brown being from Mechanicville, and this is his hometown. He said, I never thought I'd be talking about winning the Belmont Stakes here, but at least it'll be exciting. Have all my friends and family in the area. So that's, I know, something he's excited about. But as far as Sierra Leone's concerned, if you watch the Kentucky Derby, he was really kind of leaning in on his foe in the stretch. And so they've made changes in equipment for him for this weekend. There's also a rider switch. So we'll see if all of those things can come together to help him stay straight and get the right kind of trip this time.
All right. If it isn't Sierra Leone, well, let me ask you this. How much, it's only a 10-horse field. How much do you care about coming from the outside?
In a mile and a quarter, to me, I don't really care about it much. So if you watch the Travers ever, the starting gate's going to be in the same position as the Travers, the Midsummer Derby. So it starts past the finish line. So they'll cross the finish line and you have a long way into the first turn. Some of the shorter races, when it's really tight, getting into the first turn, trying to save ground, get into a spot. With this distance, it doesn't make much of a difference for me. I am a fan of Sierra Leone. Like I said, I think he's first to beat, but I like Antiquarian. He's 12-1 on the morning line. He's going to be a nice price. He's really impressed me in the mornings with how he's been training coming into this. And he won the Peter Pan, which is the local New York prep for the Belmont Stakes.
Okay. So if we were to put together some exotics here, are we looking at 9-5 or do you go differently with an exacta?
No, I'm going to do a 9-5. I'm also going to go 9-2. I like Resilience as well. I think he's interesting coming into this race. He was a horse that going into the Kentucky Derby, he looked like he was about to make a move and then kind of flattened a little bit. So his connections thinking maybe he wanted less distance, but Belmont was actually originally considering running a different horse in the Belmont Stakes, and then Resilience worked so well the other day. And to my eye, physically, I think he looks like a horse that can get the mile and a quarter without a problem. And for Bill to say, this horse worked so well and is doing so well, I'm going to run him instead of Batten Down, who he had initially said might run. I'm trusting in Bill Mott's judgment in here. And like I said, those two horses are going to be nice prices that can help give you some value if you do like the favorite.
Do you find room for a Mystic Dan or Seize the Gray in a trifecta that you put together?
Of the two, absolutely. Of the two, I would prefer Mystic Dan. As I had touched on, I think the negative point for him is that he has had a long campaign. He is coming in off of running in a valiant effort in the Kentucky Derby and then finishing second in the Preakness. And while Seize the Gray did not run in the Kentucky Derby, he won the Pat Day Mile, which was run on the same day as the Derby, then won the Preakness. So they're on the same schedule, the two of them. So that's always a little bit of a question as well. You have horses that have had a little bit more time off, a little bit more fresh coming into this race. Also, Seize the Gray was able to take the race gate to wire in the Preakness Stakes using that speed. I think you'll have a lot more company on the front end in the Belmont Stakes here. And then as far as Mystic Dan, I've liked what I've seen from him. He's become a little bit of a fan favorite. He's a very sweet, kind horse if you go by his stall, and he's fun to be around. But I am wondering if Sierra Leone, if he could keep a straight course, will turn the tables. But of the two classic winners, I would prefer Mystic Dan.
NYRA, Fox Sports analyst Acaa Clement. One last thought here, Acacia, on Saratoga being the host. You've seen the grandest of horse races there are there are in the country. How will Saratoga measure up on a Triple Crown level come Saturday?
I think it's going to be great. I call Saratoga home now too. We spend half the year here, at my husband and we love living here so much. And I feel like the town has really embraced the Belmont Stakes. I got to be a judge yesterday for the window decorating contest downtown, and it was just so fun to see how all those storefronts were celebrating the races and celebrating the Belmont Stakes. It was just awesome to see all of that on display, and that's one thing that's really special about Saratoga. When you're at Belmont Park, there's so many things happening in New York City that it's not as big a story. Whereas when you're here, that's what everybody's talking about. And it's one of the things I love so much about the spa. You know, we'll go out to dinner and the table next to us will be talking about a tough beat in the 5th race or whatever, which is just awesome. So I'm really, really happy that we get to bring it to all the fans here. And like I said, I hope Mother Nature's kind, because it's going to be such a great weekend. And we're really, really grateful to how Saratoga's rolled out the red carpet.
We can't wait to see you in person. Acacia, thank you for doing the show as always. Good luck on the broadcasts, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, Chris.
Life is about making memories. It's about sharing special moments with those we love and cherishing those moments forever. And what better way to create those memories than by spending time together in the great outdoors? In a space that is as beautiful and as special as the memories we create. Visit Alpenhaus on Route 30 in Amsterdam and Clifton Park Center, and let us handle the heavy lifting. Take advantage of free local delivery, and we'll haul away your old grill or patio furniture.
It's always a good time there.
Play to win a 2024 Chevy Camaro convertible through June 29th. Celebrate 20 years of good times at Saratoga Casino Hotel.
It's always a good time.
Learn more at SaratogaCasino.com.
To try, it's always a good time.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Alpenhaus.
And back live at Saratoga Racecourse now on Onorato and Miller. Chris Onorato, and Jill wants to know, are we having fun? Yeah, we're having fun. How can you not? Belmont at Saratoga. I know how much Jill loves this place. Seen her here many, many times. And a shout out from our great people at Marcella's Appliance Center who support the show each and every single week. All right, we've got some more to do here with basketball. The NBA Finals start on Thursday night, and the odds are in Boston's favor, minus 255 to win the title. But the betting public is on Dallas, and I'm part of that betting public. I am on Dallas here as well. I think the Mavericks bigs end up causing some problems for Boston. Outside of Porzingis, Horford, not a lot of bigs I love. Guard play will be kind of interesting. The way that Derek White is playing for Boston now, and obviously Tatum and Brown, but Doncic is the best player in the series. I'm going to take the Mavericks. And maybe Kyrie's just got a little extra up his sleeve going up against his former team. I don't know. We'll see. Gino Auriemma, this news kind of surprised me. 5-year extension with UConn. Boy, I felt like he was at the end, didn't it? With the way the landscape of women's college basketball has changed now, it's tougher for UConn, obviously, to get the top recruits, dominate the way they did. It felt like, okay, maybe this is time now for me. But Gino's almost kind of doubling down, saying, no, I'm all in. I'm going to figure out this transfer portal, this NIL deal, and return to the top. We'll see. All right, time for Dirty Difficult, Don.
And now, Dirty, Difficult, and Done. Sponsored by Performance Industrial.
Karen and Bill Miller, the great people at Performance Industrial, where there's never a job that's too dirty or too difficult for them to get it done. Industrial cleaning, epoxy floors, and I'm saying the golden age in men's tennis is done. Heard other people refer to it as like the era of the big three when you talk about Federer, Nadal, Djokovic. Obviously, Federer has retired. Nadal is right on the verge. first round exit at the French, which we all know he has dominated in his career, 14 titles at the French Open. And now Djokovic has to withdraw from that tournament with a knee injury. Well, Djokovic 24 Grand Slams, Nadal 22 of them. The run was going to come to an end at some point. I'm glad we got to see Nadal maybe one last time at Roland Garros. And Djokovic hasn't won his last singles Grand Slam title, I don't think. But knee injury, Wimbledon, the Olympics, and then the US Open, can he make all, some, any of those actually happen? I don't know. And it's not going to be easy to win with Alcaraz and Sinner and guys coming up here. But what a run it was for those three guys, Federer, Djokovic, and Nadal. I love tennis. And so it's kind of sad to see this really probably coming to a bit of an end. How about some golf? Kennedy Swedi, a 3-time New York State champion, joins us next here on Onorato and Miller, live from Saratoga Racecourse. Back in a minute.
Teams, athletes, organizations. We're transforming the custom apparel industry through product and purpose. Claim your crown.
What better way to jumpstart the season than with a month-long event here at Alpenhaus RV? Start making memories today. Stop in during our camping season kickoff sales event and make this a summer you won't forget. Visit us online at alpenhausrv.com or in Amsterdam and Saratoga.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Alpenhaus.
You ever get that feeling in life that you're just bad luck? Maybe not all the time, but in a certain situation or on a certain day, you're bringing bad luck.
I know exactly where you're going with this. We'll ask Kennedy what she thinks, but I know exactly where you're going with this. When we were watching Kennedy play golf, she was
Kennedy
over par.
Swedick.
As soon as we left, she started making birdies all over the place and even some eagles. And I thought, well, that's the Onorato jigs for you. We bring some bad juju.
It's the only explanation.
The only explanation.
Now a 3-time New York State champion, Kennedy Swedi. I mean, absolutely incredible. Let's bring her on to the show, Onorato and Miller with Chris and Ash. Kennedy, it's good to have you on the show again. Congratulations on number 3. How are you?
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
What do you think? Was it us? Was the pressure so great while we were there?
No. I saved it. I saved it for your dad, of course.
He gets all the good shots.
So Kennedy, it's funny because we were walking with your parents that day on Sunday, which was the first round. And I think it was your mom who said she hates playing. Ash, was it like number 7 or number 8? Or
Kennedy, what hole is your least favorite hole of all time? 6? 7.
And it has, I don't know why, because it's not that difficult of a hole, but it's just one of those par 3s where I just get up and I'm just like, don't love it.
But your mom was saying, and I think maybe your dad said this too, when like the par 5s are your opportunities kind of per se. Why, like, can you explain that? Why is that? Or is it just because you can use your driver and you enjoy using that club and you can outdrive other girls?
Yeah, because I think driver is definitely my strength. So with the par 5s, especially at the Edison Club, like I was able to just hit driver on basically every single par 5, just get up there close. And it's always fun to get on 2 and have like a 2-putt birdie. Those are always fun, have like the chance for eagle. So yeah, that's like my favorite.
You played in so many big tournaments. This is certainly not the biggest, but Did you feel pressure going to the back nine on Sunday after struggling a little bit, or did you feel pressure going into Monday maybe where when you were positioned where you were going into Monday, everybody would have looked at the leaderboard and said, well, she's going to win, right? That was the expectation going into the tournament overall, and then certainly into Monday. Do you feel that?
Obviously I felt a little pressure, but I really wanted to win this one as my last high school event, and just how much support I've gotten from like the whole section, the whole community. I just really wanted this for them. How much support they've shown me. I just really wanted to live up to that expectation. I was so blessed to be in that spot, because like Section 2 girls golf 5 years ago really didn't exist. So I just sat there on Sunday, and I knew I hadn't played up to my standard, but I knew that it was still in there somewhere. And yeah, I just told myself, let's play a little better, just be patient and let the birdies come, because I kind of pressed it a little bit on Sunday. So I just different mindset, just a shift, just letting the birdies come, just patience. But
Kennedy, you mentioned Section 2, and I know in a few of the newspaper articles that I read afterward, you were quick to kind of give credit to all the other players and say how much you wanted this for them. So you're a 3-time individual state champ, but Section 2 won a state championship as a team. And it's the first time I can remember having like 10 girls Section 2 players in the top 15 in a really long time, and maybe ever, because girls golf is so new. What did winning that team title mean to you, especially as a senior?
It meant so much, honestly. Like I said, because Section 2 girls golf was not a thing 5 years ago. And the work that everyone put in to make it possible, we have such a bond. Like all the girls, we're just going to have a bond for life because of this. And I mean, I just absolutely love those girls. And to be able to do it, to get the section title for state, it means everything.
How has your game changed in the last 3 or 4 years? I said to your dad, it looks like Kennedy's a lot stronger than this time last year. And I won't say how much weight he wanted you to put on in muscle, but how much stronger have you gotten, or how has your game changed or evolved?
Yeah, so basically the last few years, honestly, that's been one of my number one goals, is to get stronger. I work with Dr. Chris Bath, and he is just the absolute best. So we have goals for like a couple years now, and just working on like the strength of the off season. I mean, the off season is not ideal in the Northeast, obviously, and but it was really a great opportunity for me to really just get stronger and meet those goals. So because a driver is definitely an asset for me. So getting that an even stronger asset is like absolutely huge.
Kennedy, we talked a little bit about this off camera. And Chris, by the way, it's never any high school girls, college girls, any female for that matter, that's going to want to put on weight. Get stronger is definitely something, but no putting out, like we're not boxers, right? We don't want to put on weight. We want to get stronger. So I like how Kennedy was like, yeah, get stronger, not put on weight. Kennedy, what's next? We talked a little bit off camera about this, but where do you go from here in the tournaments before you go to UVA over the summer?
I just have some qualifiers. So the USGA events are obviously some of the strongest. So I have my USGA Girls Junior qualifier that's coming up in like mid-June. And then I'm going to try for the Women's Am for the first time. So we're trying to find a qualifier. That one's a little bit more difficult because the schedule is so busy. And then I actually just got into an AJG Invitational. It's the Ralph Lauren. It's a match play event actually at Bethpage Black. So I'm really looking forward to that one. That's going to be a ton of fun.
And tough.
Yeah. I mean, anytime you can say Bethpage Black and like you get the opportunity to play there, it's pretty sweet.
Yes.
What course haven't you played that would be number one on the list? Anywhere in the world?
Anywhere in the world. Well, probably Augusta. That's definitely up there. And then I've always wanted to play Pebble Beach too, because the U.S. Women's Open was there, I think last year, 2 years ago. But definitely those two.
Okay.
Kennedy, you chose UVA of a lot of different programs that you could have gone to. And this was a team, correct me if I'm wrong, that was top 10 all season, most of the season. How much are you looking forward to just getting those competitive juices going with, you know what, you're playing the best of the best at the state level, but now you're going to play the best girls, women from across the country, and you're playing girls and women who are 4 years older than you. You know what I mean? So the experience and the strength that we talked about, you'll be at a disadvantage to start. So it's like you're almost like you're starting over.
Yeah, definitely. I am so excited. I have the best coach imaginable. Coach Rhea is just absolutely amazing. And I just can't wait to be a part of the team, because the support system that they have is incredible. They're all absolutely amazing. They're amazing competitors. And I just can't wait to be a part of that environment, and to play for not just for myself, but for like the team. And Coach Rhea has put a lot of belief in me, and I just cannot wait to try to live up to that.
What was the last time you went a full day without swinging a golf club? Not even a putter, nothing.
Actually, my clubs got lost coming back from Texas just a few weeks ago. And I think I had 2 or 3 days off of golf. And that was definitely, other than obviously like during the winter, that was definitely like the longest I've been without the golf.
So she literally, because her clubs got lost, not because she was choosing not to swing a club.
Did you get the clubs back eventually?
I did. Yes, everything was okay. But I love golf. And so like, even when I'm not playing in tournaments, playing matches with my friends, it's just so much fun. So I just love golf. But
yeah.
Chris, Kennedy's at school right now because she's doing May project presentation. Kennedy, tell them what your project is.
It's basically a stats program. So Anders kind of had the idea of making a stats program that's easy for beginners to use, because he has so many like younger kids trying to get into the game. And it's again, like what we said with Section 2 golf. It's just amazing to see like the growth in the game. And because I don't really like to keep stats. If you ask Anders, it's probably one of the most annoying things about my golf game. So I wanted to create a stats program that was easy to use and like super easy, not keep like pacing all the putts. So I don't know if you can see it, but
you get the idea.
So basically, instead of rating your shots like by numbers, it's smiley faces. So you have a smile for like a good shot, a neutral face for a neutral shot, and then a frown for a bad shot. But I think the unique thing about this, it's also about the commitment level. And I think that's the most important thing in my game right now. That's what I'm trying to improve, is like really committing to my shots, because I think the mental game is obviously so important, especially now, like people are really starting to see how important it is. And I actually kept my stats for states, and I was able to look at which shots, like I think it said a majority of my shots, my bad shots, especially day one, were because of commitment issues. So being able to see that correlation, like actually in analysis and in stats, really like drill that in.
Can you A+?
Yeah. Can you learn mental toughness as a golfer, or was that already somewhere in you and most likely in every golfer?
I think it's in every golfer, but it's so hard to do because it's so easy. Like I'll be at home and just thinking about it, I'm like, man, I just need to get over bad shots. Like it's not that difficult. Like why can't I just get over it? And I'll be on the 17th hole and still be thinking about the putt that I missed on too. It's so difficult, but just practicing it. I mean, just learning. You're never going to be perfect, but just learning to accept it and just being aware of it, I think, is like the first step. But I think we all have it in us. It's just difficult to come out.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think golfers have more of that for sure. Like baseball and softball players have to have a lot of it because, you know, a batting average, if you hit a third of the time, that's good, which is hard for other athletes to understand. Like a soccer player, there isn't as much in the way of like mistakes that are obvious. But golf, I think the special thing about you, Kennedy, and good golfers is that you don't let them compound. Like, it's okay if you're still thinking about it, but when a bogey turns into a bogey, that's a problem. And that's hard to not let happen. Like you see streaks where even the best golfers like Nelly Korda things happen and it just kind of spins out of control. So golf is a different, you guys are a different breed.
And the fact that like you wait so long in between shots, there's so much time to think. And I think that's what I've been working on, is kind of just hitting that reset button, because if you, like you said, things can compound so quickly.
Do you watch golf? Do you have time to watch golf, or will you put it on TV?
On watching the Masters and all that stuff was really fun this year. But I don't watch it often. But
does his footwork make you crazy?
I love his footwork. Like, honestly, it's so fun just to see that. I think a lot of people see like golf swings and they're trying to be perfect. And the fact that the #1 golfer in the world has that swing, like, if this is what I always say, I'm like, if you showed anybody this person's swing and not know who he is, you'd be like, is he even a pro? Yeah. But I think that's just actually so great for the game too. Like, you don't have to be perfect. It's just got to make it work.
Yeah, you don't have to look like everybody else when you do it, as long as it works.
Right.
Listen, there were some people with some bizarre baseball swings, you know what I mean? Like back in the day, but if it works, it works.
Yeah, for sure. Ash, final word. We let Kennedy run. She's got homework to do.
Yeah, well, she's got stats programs to present, which she's already presented, and I think it was pretty good. Now, Kennedy, listen, we appreciate your time. Congratulations. Not only are you a great golfer, but your family, you guys are great people, and it's been a pleasure to cover you since you've been, I don't know, 10 when you made drive, chip, and putt, and now you're going to college. It's hard for us to believe, but yeah, we're looking forward to seeing what you do next, because it's certain to be big.
Thank you so much. Thank you for all the support. Really, it truly means a lot.
Get ready for the thrill of a lifetime with Tracker fishing boats, available at Alpenhaus. Feel the rush as you reel in your trophy catch, supported by Tracker's unmatched stability. Prepare to conquer any challenge with cutting-edge tech at your fingertips and the freedom to explore without limits. Make waves this season and experience the ultimate fishing adventure with Tracker fishing boats at Alpenhaus. Your source for fun since 1964.
Play to win a 2024 Chevy Camaro convertible through June 29th. Celebrate 20 years of good times at Saratoga Casino Hotel. Learn more at saratogacasino.com.
Grab the family and get on the water in style with a Barletta pontoon featuring the power of a Mercury outboard motor. Whether you're cruising with the family or tubing and skiing, Barletta and Mercury will give you the best ride on the lake. Check out our great selection on Route 30 in Amsterdam and online at alpenhausboats.com.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Alpenhaus.
Well, and catching up with Kennedy Swedi. We are live at Saratoga Racecourse. Let's jump right back into the conversation about the Belmont Stakes on Saturday. First time ever Saratoga has hosted a Triple Crown race. Our buddy Billy Blake breaks it down for us next.
I'm Jeff Fukelek. I'm owner of Bevs, and we're a beverage center in upstate New York. You're just gonna have that wow component when you come in, like, wow, look at this place. It's bright, it's clean, it has everything that I need. Consumer is king. Be able to provide them a friendly environment and a place to shop, no matter where they are, whether they're down here in Saratoga or whether they're up in Queensbury, you're always gonna get the same experience when you shop at Bevs. At the end of the day, if you walk in your stores, you're gonna see a lot of people that have a lot of pride.
Life is about making memories. It's about sharing special moments with those we love and cherishing those moments forever. And what better way to create those memories than by spending time together in the great outdoors? In a space that is as beautiful and as special as the memories we create. Visit Alpenhaus on Route 30 in Amsterdam and Clifton Park Center, and let us handle the heavy lifting. Take advantage of free local delivery and we'll haul away your old grill or patio furniture.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Alpenhaus.
Okay, we've had one expert trying to help me out, but it's nice to have friends who you can just kind of call on last minute and go, hey, the Belmont's in town, have you heard? And I need some help with some exotics when I get to, nobody goes, do people go to the window anymore? Do you go to the window anymore, Billy?
You know, I think I'm one of the few that do.
Well, let me tell you something. So just real quick here, Billy Blake, by the way, who has worked at News Channel 13, Express Bet out on the West Coast, knows the horse racing game as well as anybody I know, certainly. I was at Saratoga Race Course earlier in the week, okay? And the Jim Dandy Bar is beautiful. They did a really nice job. And in that space, too, they've had like some minor renovations with like a margarita bar or something weird by the stairs. It's something else now. But they redid all of those betting windows.
Okay.
In a wooden kind of stain. It's beautiful. And I thought, this will get people go to the window.
Yeah. So the reason why I like going to the window, one, is because typically people are betting on their phones. So I feel like I'm going to be in a shorter line. I also go to I do it myself. So I'm not going to a person to punch in my bet. If I'm going to make the mistake, it's going to be on me. I don't need someone else messing up a bet. So more than once, I'm sure I've messed up a number that I've been trying to punch in at the terminal. But the one thing about the phones too, and I don't know how it is with you, Chris, or other people, but I feel like when I'm in a big crowd, my battery just goes quickly. So I try to be on it. I bring my portable charger with me. I'm ready to go. But in terms of betting, I would rather just get it all in, have a ticket. So I guess I'm old school that way. But yeah, I'll have to check out those.
Do you bet every race in advance? You go in one shot, or you're race by race?
No, I'll go race by race.
Okay.
I'll go race by race. Belmont Day, I'll probably have the majority of my opinions like jotted down, and I'll have a good idea of what I'll want to do and fire away at, but I'll wait because I may second guess myself. Of course, if there's a late scratch, that's going to play a big key.
Weather. Yep.
Yeah, weather. I'm hoping there's some good juju permeating from the weather department at the station.
It's getting better. Every time we check or get a report or email from Christina Talamo, it seems to get better. So
good.
Fingers crossed. Out of the 4 days, these are tough tickets. How many days are you going to go?
So I'll be there Saturday. Yeah, I'm just gonna head up there Saturday. I'll be in the house. Couple perks I have, like I have some family who lives in town, so I may be able to park at their house and then walk to the track. Just little things like that, so I'm not dealing with the craziness immediately around the track. So definitely going to take advantage of that. But yeah, I'll be there Saturday, and I was thinking Sunday maybe too, but we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll go Sunday if I have to like cash a big ticket or something from Saturday. We'll see.
Or chase, the bets would say,
exactly.
Which of course we don't support or condone on this show. Don't do that. That's like rule number one in sports gambling. Don't chase the losses. All right, let's get into it here, man. Well, first of all, let me as a guy who's from the area, when you first heard about it, okay, but now that it's here, and you've got the concert Wednesday night, and you're capped at 50,000, and it's a triple crown. Like, we're probably not going to ever get a Breeders', as awesome as that would be. The time of year just doesn't work out for upstate New York. So this is really the pinnacle. What do you think, man?
Yeah, I mean, we throw the word unique around a lot, and I feel like this is the textbook definition of that, right? I mean, we're running in Saratoga at a time we don't normally run. And I think we'll all find out that even though physically the racing and all the action is in Saratoga, from an operational standpoint, this is not going to be like the summer. And I know NYRA has done a good job of getting the word out there in terms of some of the restrictions that fans have. So I have to put my cooler with wheels away for this weekend, which is totally fine by me, and I certainly get it. But I was talking about this with somebody about a year ago, and at first I was like, yeah, we'll see. But yeah, now that we're right on the cusp of it and it's here, it's awfully fun. And it's twice in a lifetime. It's not once in a lifetime, because we'll get it again next year. So, but after next year, it's going to go back to Belmont permanently. So this is pretty cool that we get a little taste of it for these couple springs here, I should say.
Yeah, and this is first world problems. Like, you'll understand this, and a lot of people will. When you work at so many of these types of events, I'm not talking about a Triple Crown race, but just at Saratoga Race Course, sometimes when you're not on the clock, it's not exactly the place you want to be, right? Mm-hmm. But Ash I just kind of floated it. What do you think about going on Saturday? Yes. Okay. Then we go. We are calling this, Billy, the year of yes, where we're just going to do things, right? Maybe it makes us smile a little bit. All right, let's look at the field here, buddy. Seize the Gray, Mystic Dan. People obviously know those names from the first two Triple Crown races. But Sierra Leone is the hot one and obviously the morning line favorite. Chad Brown has always talked about, boy, I'd love to win a Travers, because wouldn't that be cool to win the biggest race at Saratoga? Well, we didn't know that we'd get the Belmont all those years Chad was saying it, but he might win a Triple Crown race at Saratoga, which he might tell you is bigger than winning the Travers. I don't know. Mind frame comes in, quote unquote, fresh. Where are you going on the board here, man? Should Sierra Leone be the morning line favorite?
So the answer to that is yes, he absolutely should be. If he runs in a straight line down the stretch in the Kentucky Derby, he probably wins that race by a nose instead of losing it by a nose to Mystic Dan. But as has been widely reported, a new jockey now, Flavien Prat, takes over for the Belmont. There's also a new bit for Sierra Leone in this race to kind of give the jockey a little bit more control, I guess, power steering, if you will, for that analogy. And typically, I'll be honest, like even as a hardcore horse player that I am, I never pay attention to things like that. So this just goes to show you how magnified it is, because it is the Belmont and it is the favorite, that has been a big storyline involving Sierra Leone in the lead up to this race.
Yeah.
Typically, I will say though this, Chris, in these classic distance races of 1.25 miles, I prefer horses on or near the lead, because they can dictate the terms of the race, and they in a way they can tell the horses coming from the back of the pack, like Sierra Leone, catch me if you can. Like, if you're good enough, come past me. So generally speaking, I like horses on or near the lead.
Can he do that from the outside? It's only a 10-horse field, but can he do that from the outside easily?
Oh, it's fine. Yeah, there's plenty of run down to the first turn where Flavien Prat, the jockey, can kind of get the horse down inside closer to the rail. I'm not really worried about that with these horses. And again, we're only talking half the field that we would get in the Kentucky Derby anyway. So I don't think that's too much of a concern. But I'm looking at this race where I think there's going to be a few different horses that are going to set the pace, and it's going to be pretty brisk. And by the time they get to the top of the stretch and everyone's screaming and yelling at Saratoga, I think you're going to see a few of these horses who have been in the front for so long, that gas tank is going to start to empty out. And there are horses like Sierra Leone that are going to be closing. You don't need me to tell you that Sierra Leone is the most likely winner. So I do have a wise guy horse in this race who also should be closing, who will be a much better price than Sierra Leone. And that horse is right to the inside of Sierra Leone, the number 8, Anna Marie, who I thought got just a terrible trip in the Kentucky Derby. I tried to go back and watch the NBC replay of the Derby, and it's so hard to do it to watch Anna Marie because he's just so far back. And when you watch the horses come out of the gate in the Derby, Anna Marie gets like he gets ping-balled around by a couple different horses. Even in this stretch, he was trying to make a move and he had to alter course. I just draw a line through that race for Anna Marie, and he's 12-1 on the morning line. I actually hope the odds go up on him a little bit because he's going to be under the radar. And I'm hoping I can get Anna Marie in first with Sierra Leone second. So 8-9 for me in this race. If Sierra Leone wins, certainly would not shock me at all. And, you know, the storylines locally would be huge with Chad Brown winning a Belmont at Saratoga. But Anna Marie, to me, is a horse that is just going to be forgotten. And I think he can step up in a big way here and win. The cool thing, too, and this is what the parallel from horse racing to other sports, Anna Marie cost $40,000 at it was sold, which I get to us and everyday people. Yes, $40,000 is a lot of money in the horse racing market. Right. $40,000 is a bargain. Sierra Leone, right to the outside, those owners purchased him for $2.3 million. So obviously there's high expectations here with Sierra Leone, but I just kind of like that aspect to the story too, where it's just like in sports, right? Money doesn't buy championships. You can go out, sign a big free agent. Sure, you're going to get all the headlines. Yep. At the end of the basketball, baseball, hockey season, football season, are you hoisting the trophy? Not always the case. So part of me is rooting for Anna Marie in that regard too, just because this is a horse who, based on in the horse racing world, was not that inexpensive of a purchase.
All right. Can you fill out a trifecta for us here? If you're going 8-9 or 9-8, you box it however way you want. Give me a third horse that hits the board.
Yeah, another horse that I think this horse is actually going to go down in price, because I've heard a lot of horse racing reporters and people that I follow also talk about this horse a bit. And that's number 2, Resilience.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Resilience was kind of on the fence to run in the Belmont after coming out of the Kentucky Derby, where if you go back and watch the Derby replay, Resilience was the number 19 horse. So he had to come all the way over from that far outside post. And at the top of the stretch, for a couple seconds there, I actually thought Resilience was going to win. And full disclosure, Resilience was my wise guy horse in the Derby. I thought that was going to be the horse that nobody was really talking about that could step up and run a big race. So I had a few strides there at the quarter pole. I was like, oh my gosh, is this actually going to happen? And he ended up fading, and I think he finished 6th or 7th, not on the board, but I'm willing to give him another shot. He also had a really good workout last weekend leading up to the Belmont on Saturday. So I would say 8-9-2 in this race, and that means no Mystic Dan for me, no Seize the Gray for me. Those are the 2 classic winners so far. Look, Mystic Dan is a really good horse, and I really tip my cap to Kenny McPeak, because I just overlooked him in the Derby. I did not have that horse at the 18-1 price he was that day. He came out of the Derby in great shape, and even though he lost the Preakness, he ran fine. It wasn't like he didn't show up in Pimlico. And then after Pimlico, by all reports, he came out of the race great. He's been training great at Saratoga. So even though this horse has been running a lot this year, it doesn't seem to take a lot out of him. My thing is, in big races like this, you get a lot of, I guess, beginner bettors who are putting money into the pools, and they see Kentucky Derby winner and they're like, oh, I'm going to bet that horse. So for somebody like me who follows the sport closely, that actually excites me a little bit, because that might not be that might drive Mystic Dan's odds down, meaning horses like Resilience and Anna Marie may go up. So, and again, if Mystic Dan were to win, I wouldn't completely be shocked, but it's just, you have to take opinion. You can't like them all, right? Just like in sports, you can't like every single team. So I have to take a stance somewhere. So for me, I'm going to try with these horses that are double digits on the morning line, like Anna Marie and Resilience, to work them in. And then Sierra Leone, I don't think he finishes worse than 2nd. So that's kind of where I'm leaning. Todd Pletcher, I mean, we haven't even mentioned him yet. I mean, I follow the races pretty often, and here I am, not even including Todd Pletcher horses who, we all know here in the Capital Region. And, Mind Frame on the outside is probably his most highly touted horse going into the race, but he's only run twice. And to make a basketball analogy, I'd say it's like the high school prospect who's really good, but he's skipping college completely and just going straight to the pros. Does he have the 3-point shot? Does he have the muscle built to take some contact from the big boys in the paint? Mind Frame, I think he's a talented horse. And if I could put a future bet on him now for like a race like the Travers in a couple months, I'd be more intrigued by that. I think they're biting off a little bit more than they can chew at this point. But again, it's Todd Pletcher. So, or
maybe a race in early November for him.
Exactly. Okay. So, yeah, I don't think the horse is quite there yet. That there is talent there, but he needs more seasoning at this point in the year.
Are you racing for a picnic table Saturday morning?
I'll be racing for a breakfast sandwich and a coffee first, and then see, I don't know. I think there's going to be people overnight, and I would in an earlier life I would do that, but I enjoy sleeping in my own bed and things like that now. So I don't think I'm going to be the first one on Union Avenue.
No,
but I'll get
later gate time now.
Right, 1 a.m. Right, yeah. So I don't know if I'll be the first one in, but first post is 10:30. So I'm hoping to be in there by then. But yeah, people will be camped out overnight for sure.
That's a long day on Saturday, people. Pace, and hydrate. Very important.
Pace makes the race.
Very important. Billy, thank you, dude. Always good to catch up with you, man. I love the trifecta you've given us here. Acacia went 9-5-2. Billy Blake goes 8-9-2. Love it. So Sierra Leone, Resilience are the common horses there. Good stuff, man. Billy, thank you, dude. We'll see you Saturday.
Sounds good, Chris. Thank you.
It's always a good time there. Doesn't matter where. It's always a good time there. Doesn't matter.
Play to win a 2024 Chevy Camaro convertible through June 29th. Celebrate 20 years of good times at Saratoga Casino Hotel.
It's always a good time.
Learn more at SaratogaCasino.com.
To try, it's always a good time.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Alpenhaus.
And wrapping things up live now at Saratoga Racecourse, where the sun is trying to break through these clouds. Have a great weekend, everybody. If you're coming up to Saratoga, enjoy it. Be safe. Good luck with any wagers you may play. And we will see you back here on Onorato and Miller next week.